What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to do the install of the Fab Fours tube rock rails on our Jeep Gladiator. This is going to replace the factory Rubicon rock rails here. There's nothing wrong with these rock rails. It's just I kind of like the ones that come on the JK Hard Rock. They have the extra tube on the side for protection. There's been a few times wheeling where I've slid sideways and hit like a tree stump and something like that, and it's actually done really well to protect the side of the vehicle. The factory Rubicon rock rails, as you see here, are flush with the side of the Jeep, so it doesn't offer a ton of side collision. So let's get these Fab Fours installed. Should be pretty simple. So here are the rock rails. They are pretty beefy, and I don't know if you can see that. I don't have a gauge to measure how thick that is, but that's pretty comparable to what the OEM ones are on the Hard Rock. Here is documentation that comes with it. That's the QR code to scan to go to the website, or you can just go to the Fab Fours website for the install. And I was wrong. It actually came with a little bit of a hardware kit. Things that I've read before and on their site said that it didn't come with any of the mounting hardware. This does not look like mounting hardware. Might be, not sure. But from what I've read on the install, people did not get a hardware kit. So this did come with something. So let's go ahead and get this installed. We'll have to remove the factory ones first to get these on. Alright, to start we need to remove these factory ones, so we'll go under here. So down here you're going to have 4 13mm nuts. 1, 2, 3 right in front of me, and then 4 in the rear, and then you'll have 8 of these 10mm nuts you'll have to take off. You can go ahead and pull them all off because the factory rock rail is actually going to be held on by these studs here. So we'll zip all these off here real quick. Thing I wanted to look at real quick too is this is the pinch weld right here. This is the factory rock rail. I'm just curious how much further down the Fab Fours are going to hang. Hope that's not anything that's going to cause us any sort of clearance loss or anything like that. But I guess if it doesn't hang down below the frame, it's not the end of the world. So let's zip these off real quick. I can't get my power tool in underneath here, so I can do the 10mm ones by hand. My Jeep's only about 8 months old or so, so all these things haven't had a chance to rust on, so everything is pretty easy. So again, 4 of the 13mm and 8 of the 10mm, and we'll get all those off. Now once you got all 12 of those nuts and bolts removed, you should be able to just grab the factory rock rail and pull it straight out, and it comes right off. So we'll set these aside for now. So now we need to get our rock rails mounted back on there, and basically we're going to have to lift this up and then fit the factory 13mm bolts that we had, those ones, through these holes to mock it back in. Now these are left and right, so it does matter. You'll see one side is short and then the other side is longer. So the longer side actually is the rear of the Jeep. The shorter side goes to the front of the Jeep. It matters because the spacing for these tabs need to match up with the factory bolt placement. So again, the shorter side goes to the rear of the Jeep. The longer side goes to the front of the Jeep. All right, so we need to lift the rock rail up onto that pinch weld. If you have 2 people, great. I'm by myself, so I'm actually going to set it on the jack stand and lift it up. This lip right here, I got to turn this around, but this lip is going to go to the outside of the vehicle, so the pinch weld is actually going to sit down in this little cradle right here, and that's what's going to offer additional support on this. So let me get the rock rail up over to the Jeep on the jack, and I'll kind of position it and I'll cover the next step. Okay, so I've got the jack stand holding the rock rail up. The metal lip is to the outside of the body, And be careful when you're going underneath here, because things aren't buttoned down. So we're gonna get our holes lined up, and we're gonna thread these into our holes here. I'm gonna take 2 hands real quick to get this into position. Alrighty, so I got that front one finger tight. Got our other holes lined up, so we'll just get this in finger tight. Works better when you have 2 hands, because then you can just push up on the rock rail and then position it. But we'll finger tight all 4 of them. So I got all 4 of them finger tight. We need to be able to line these holes up with the ones on the frame. So everything's down kind of low right now, so I'm going to use the floor jack and it will pop up. Oops, I got to get that cleared right there. Stand by. Okay, I was able to get that lip over that, sorry you can't see it anymore, but that fender nut that was right there. It is a little difficult. You got to mount everything up and then get this side in and push in on the side as you thread the thread that bolt right there in. So that takes a little bit of force. The next step is these bolts that came with the kit. It's basically going to be a bolt, washer, go through, washer, lock washer, then a nut. So we'll thread those in. There's 2 on the front, 2 in the middle, and in the back there's 1 here and then 1 there. So instead of the 8 from the factory rails, we're only using 6. So let me get those threaded in, and then I'll show you what it looks like underneath there. Alrighty, so it's a matter of just taking this bolt, feed it through the hole. Let's see if I can get you on the other underside here. It's up around the lip there. And it's right there. I don't know if you guys can see it from there, but you're just gonna thread it through and then just tighten it down like that. So sorry about the angles there. It's just kind of hard to get that filmed. It's a 13 millimeter on both sides. So thread in all 6 of those and then tighten them down. And once you got them threaded in, just put a wrench or a socket on the back side and then hit it with an impact or just wrench it down or whatever. But you'll snug all those down now. And so on until you get all 6 of them in. All right, once you get the pinch weld bolts, once you get those guys all snugged in, you have those other 13s, and you can go ahead and cinch down all 4 of those. And with that, they're basically installed. He's got these plastic caps that will go into the open ends. That way it's all nice and clean. And that's your install. Now, I've read some people saying that they've had to drill out some things and all that other sort of stuff. I didn't have to drill out anything. Everything went in really well. It's really on there. It's pretty sturdy. I feel like it's going to be able to handle hits from rocks and everything like that. You know, it's equivalent to the OEM setup. But I do like how it does come out from the body a little bit. It's about equal with the door handles. And then, let's see, down in here, you can kind of see right about here is where the OEM rock rails ended up. So these do go up a little bit more to protect more of your rocker panel. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the OEM rails actually came back to about here on the rear, and then on the front it came out to about here. So it's a little bit shorter. It will accommodate a bigger tire if you want to go that far, because the OEM ones stuck out from this fender liner just a little bit. So they're a little bit shorter, I don't think it's an issue for clearance if you don't go with a bigger tire, but it will not have any issues clearing a larger tire because they are shorter. I do like the look of it more on the Gladiator, and it's gonna work out for an overall theme that I'm going with this build. But there you go. There's the Fab Fours tube rail install on the JT Jeep Gladiator. I think I wanted to get a shot from underneath. So the rail is smooth all the way through. There's no lip that hangs down. I know there's another company that makes a replica of the Hard Rock, but these tabs actually came down underneath this, so these tabs were a hang-up point, but there was no issues for hang-ups here. It's still tucked up higher than what the frame is. It does stick down maybe an inch more than what the OEM was, but we are going from the just flat square metal to this tube steel. So it does stick down a little bit, but it's not enough to cause any major issues. But that is going to offer some good protection here. Whew, so bust a little sweat here. It is a warm night here in Colorado. Hopefully this was informative to you guys, and you guys got a good view of what this rock rail looks like. The install is easy, easier with two people, but I was able to get this all put up there with the floor jack and everything like that, and just done it here in the garage. You can do it with just socket wrenches. You don't need a power tool or anything like that. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tune in for more videos on this Jeep Gladiator build. We're still real early in the build here. Check out the other videos on the channel where we have other installs on this Jeep Gladiator. And Ruby, you can kind of see her right there, the full build on that one. So that one's our rock crawler. This one's going to be our overlanding rig. Anyways, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. One last thing. These 8 little bolts that we took off of the OEM rock rails, we don't need these anymore. These, you can keep it with the OEM rail. That way you can sell these off for somebody that has a sport or something like that that wants to use it. They'll just need to buy the new hardware, just 4 bolts total to bolt it in. I don't know if they're like M10s or something like that, but keep these bolts with it if you want to sell the factory rock rails later. And then whoever you sell it to, just let them know they have to buy the bolts to bolt it into the Jeep.